AFC Championship appearance, but gonna need to take care of business and face the Bills, arguably two of the top 3 teams in the AFC going head-to-head next week in the divisional round. Emory, you consider what's left in the AFC and those matchups coming on. You've got Bills taking on Ravens. You've got Texans taking on Chiefs. Fact or fiction, the winner of the Ravens-Bills game will represent the AFC in the Super Bowl.
I like that question because I like how it's prefaced, and I'm going to say yes because I expect Baltimore to be the winner of this game between them and the Bills, and I like Baltimore to go and beat Kansas City. The first matchup, Baltimore was able to run the football rather well. That's when Lamar Jackson decided, you know what, I'm just taking off. He had over 100 yards. Isaiah Likely had over 111 yards. This is before their passing game with those receivers really got into groove with the other guys like Bateman and everyone like that. They're healthier offensively. Yeah, you learned this knowledge right here. They're healthy offensively and defensively. We remember what Baltimore's defense looked like earlier in the season. That is not the same defense, although I will say this, it does worry me that this Baltimore Ravens defense in week 1 didn't face DeAndre Hopkins. They didn't face Hollywood Brown, whom they know, and they also didn't face an emerging Worthy, who scored in that ball game. But I like the way Baltimore is playing. This was their mission. Yes, Buffalo beat them, but Buffalo, I don't think pound for pound is better than Kansas City, so I would like Kansas City in that rematch, but I like Baltimore in this rematch.
I'm not sure if you guys know what a stank face is, but that's exactly what B-Mac was giving the entire time you were talking. So it's too much information. I feel like B-Mac might completely disagree with what you're saying.
I all the way disagree. This is a fiction, Emory. Listen, I understand we're all waiting for someone to knock off the Kansas City Chiefs and Pat Mahomes. But until we see it happen, you cannot go against Pat Mahomes and Andy Reid. And here's why. Numbers always tell all of us the legit story. Numbers would never lie to you. Emory just lied to you. Not directly, indirectly.
Always lie.
Indirectly, he lied to all of you. Guess this. Pat Mahomes, throughout his career in the playoffs, he's 15-3. 15-3. Let me give you the list of quarterbacks who've beaten him. Tom Brady, Joe Burrow, and Tom beat him twice. I'm sorry. Goodness, Tom is to retire. Tom beat him twice. Twice. Joe Burrow beat him. Joe Burrow ain't in the playoffs. So you're telling me the winner of Buffalo, Baltimore has a legit chance in beating him? Yes, they do. Mathematically speaking, anything can happen. But guess what he's done to them in the playoffs? He's beaten them. He beat both of them last year in the playoffs on the road. One thing you do not go against in playoff football is money, Pat Mahomes. And to your point about what you saw in the first matchup and how much better the Baltimore Ravens defense is and how good they're looking now, well, I can say the same thing about the Kansas City Chiefs. Because to your point, they didn't have DeAndre Hopkins, they didn't have Hollywood Brown. They got both guys who are highly motivated and both guys who are healthy. And guess what? Travis Kelce in the first game, let's keep it real, he wasn't in football shape. Ooh. He got some abs going on right now. That means he's been working out. That means he's in football shape. And that defense, they're much improved as well. So you're getting the Kansas City Chiefs at the wrong time because they're rolling, they're acclimated, they're healthy, and they're motivated, and their quarterback is healthy as well. And the last thing I'll say in terms of all the lies that Emory just gave you guys indirectly, you got to go to Kansas City.
That's true.
You got to go to Arrowhead. They don't have to go to Baltimore. They don't have to go to Buffalo like they did last year. You got to go to Kansas City. And you ain't going to Kansas City coming out with a win. You're going to come out disappointed because Emory just indirectly lied to y'all.
So just take the chalk from your bid and put it on the paper. That's what you just did. You went with chalk. Like, I am going with straight facts, guys. Listen, Baltimore will have the 3rd MVP, allegedly. They also have one of the best backs, if not the best back in the game right now in Derrick Henry, and their defense is playing lights out. Yes, there's one glaring weak spot that was a great number in the secondary, but the secondary outside of that number is elite.
Kiana, Pat Mahomes' record is what in the playoffs? Do you remember?
You said 15-3, right?
15-3. You remember the question? Hold on, wait a minute. You remember the quarterbacks that beaten him?
I think you said Tom Brady twice and Joe Burrow once.
But what they got to do with now? Answer the question.
The numbers tell all of us what? He don't lose in the playoffs.
Now, here's the thing. I will say postseason football is a different animal. This has been a different Kansas City Chiefs team that I think we've seen as of late. However, they have been playing back to that level that we have seen.
Can we let the fans vote?
You know what?
Let the fans
find out in a matter of a few weeks.
And be easy on him. He don't know what he's doing.
Send it to Baltimore.
Be easy on him.
Thanks, guys.
Of course, you won't send it to Baltimore.
Well, look, Let Vegas tell it. They believe the two-time Super Bowl champs will return to the Super Bowl for the third straight year. The Chiefs with the shortest odds to represent the AFC again at plus 135.
That's
followed
the
by
point.
Baltimore, fellas, at plus 210. The Bills behind at plus 240. And hey, if you got a feeling, guys, I'm just saying, if you got a feeling the Texans can take care of business, you can find some value.
Shout out to the Texans,
Plus
though,
16.
in the picture.
We ain't got another choice. There's only 4 teams left.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sorry. I was reading a good book. We're back at the desk, joined by Brian McFadden and Emery Hunt as we dive into a little wild card fact or fiction. And first, B-Mac, have you ever seen somebody read a book?
No. I mean, whatever he needs to do to make sure he's cool, calm, collected, I'm okay with it. And I think it should be a norm. We should see more of that in terms of the ebbs and flows of ball games and knowing how your emotions can go any direction. I'm okay with it because he's a heck of a player.
Right.
More wide receivers probably should read so they can go ahead and ball like A.J. Brown has been balling.
There you have it. We'll let you read into it as you please, but A.J. Brown had plenty of time to read a book and maybe write a report on it following Sunday's game, finishing his day with just 1 catch, but nonetheless, Philly got the win, albeit it was not a pretty win. But with that being said, B, fact or fiction, the Eagles don't need Brown to be involved more to get a win.
That's fiction. They need him. For them to get to the promised land and not just get to a Super Bowl, but win the Super Bowl, A.J. Brown has to be involved, and here's why. He's the best pass catcher on their team. He is one of the best playmakers in the passing game on their team. And the numbers also tell the tale on why this is a fiction. Without A.J. Brown, the Philadelphia Eagles, they only averaged 18 points. With A.J. Brown, around 27 points. Remember, in the game against this past weekend, in which they won without A.J. Brown against the Green Bay Packers, they only scored 22 points. But it was a hard 22 points. It took a minute for them to kind of get that going. When you have A.J. Brown involved, Saquon Barkley is going to be Saquon Barkley, but A.J. Brown makes Jalen Hurts a better quarterback. So you can weather the storm and beat a team like the Green Bay Packers, who were sleeping at the wheel, without A.J. Brown being involved. But if you have any aspirations of beating some of the better teams in the NFC and playing against whoever comes out of the AFC, you need to find a way to get A.J. Brown going.
Listen, I'm going to use history to make my point because I've seen this before when people try to downplay, star players. 1990, the last time we saw Bo Jackson run the football was in the playoff game against the Cincinnati Bengals, his last carry. They were going to the AFC Championship game the following week against Buffalo. Hey, they still got Marcus Allen, they still got Tim Brown. Guess what happened? 51-3, Buffalo beat the brakes off these dudes. So, yes, you need A.J. Brown to get the football, too. This is straight fiction. You want your best players because as you move forward in the postseason, the games get tighter and you need more playmakers. Why not get one that you have, the football?
Yes, certainly a guy that had over 1,000-yard season, so looking to continue to see that production, especially like you guys mentioned, as those matchups get tougher. But B, I want to move on to your boys who made an early exit in the playoffs.
Did they?
Steelers, well, closed out the year with 5 straight losses, averaged just over 14.2 yards, or points rather, over that span. That included that wild card loss to Baltimore. Now, both Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, both of them are pending free agents. So my fact or fiction question for you, next year's Steelers quarterback is on the current roster.
Facts. And here's why. Follow me with this one, okay? When you look at Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, no question Russell played more, right? So his price point might be a bit higher than Justin Fields. Justin Fields in 6 starts, they were 4-2. Did some pretty good things. I think Justin Fields is the quarterback they will have moving forward because he will be cheaper and he provides an element to their offense that Russell does not give you in terms of mobility, in terms of becoming a playmaker with his legs. With Russell Wilson, no question, he's very, very accurate. I love his aggressive mentality and pushing the football down the football field. But when that pocket collapses, 2 things is going to happen with Russell Wilson. He's going to take a sack or he's throwing the football into the 3rd row of the stadium. Justin Fields is going to try to make something happen. There lies what we witnessed with Pittsburgh and the offense becoming stagnant. And in terms of financially considering this move, I don't know exactly what the market would be for Justin Fields, but I think you can get him at a fairly good deal for the organization than compared to what Russell might command on the market because he was the starter the majority of the season. So I think this is a fact. I think Justin Fields will be the quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers moving forward for 2025.
I say fact as well because I've said this all along. Fields should have been the guy because he provides a little bit more offensively for you, and explosive plays are there to be had by a lot of people. Think about this. The last game they played, it was about a third down, maybe 7 yards ago. Russ takes off, got tackled about 2 yards short. But had that been Justin Fields, it would have been a 40-yard game, potentially a touchdown. That's the threat. He also opens up the run game. We've seen that happen with elite-level mobile quarterbacks that open up the run game for these running backs. So when you have a guy that has that big playability, and I expect him to go in there with a fairly good deal for Justin Fields and load up on wide receivers, you could spend there because you're not spending for the quarterback. And he probably just likes being in Pittsburgh with Mike Tomlin. I say yes. The answer is already on the roster. You got a sample size to see him in those 6 games. Justin Fields.
Okay, talking about those 6 games, B-Mac, coming back to you, how much confidence do you think that Mike Tomlin has in Justin Fields, just considering he only played a short amount of games and got pulled for Russell Wilson?
I think he has the confidence that he needs to be able to anoint him to be the QB1 because he rolled with him throughout the 6 ball games, and Justin Fields did not do anything to lack confidence in his ability moving forward. I think the more he becomes acclimated to their system, which he should already be, and understanding that this is his job moving forward, then he can kind of let it fly and just play football. And one thing I know about this era of NFL football, you have to have a quarterback that can move, or he needs to be a dead accurate quarterback that can do damage from the pocket like a Jared Goff. But throughout the NFL, most quarterbacks in the National Football League that are a part of good offenses, good teams, they can make things happen when there's nothing there in the passing game with their mobility. Justin Fields gives you that. And if you want to build around him because you can fairly get him at a good price in terms of what other quarterbacks are being paid in the National Football League.
All right, well, meanwhile, Pittsburgh now headed home, but Baltimore.
Xin chào tất cả các bạn đã đến với kênh YouTube của mình. Video ngày hôm nay mình sẽ lại đi tô màu những bức tranh con vật, động vật và những bức tranh phong cảnh gì đấy cho các bạn xem nha. Đây là những bức tranh mà mình đã tô màu xong rồi này các bạn ạ. Còn đây là trên bàn của mình còn rất nhiều những sản phẩm của mình đã chuẩn bị tô màu cho các bạn đây. Nhưng mà tô màu thì không thể thiếu được những hộp sáp màu này. Đây, những chiếc màu đài màu sắc này các bạn ơi. Và bây giờ các bạn hãy cùng theo dõi mình tô màu cho sản phẩm nha. Xin chào tất cả các bạn.
Bây giờ mình sẽ tiếp tục tô màu nha các bạn.
mình sẽ tiếp tục hướng dẫn các bạn làm vòng nhé. Vòng hôm nay của mình sẽ có tiêu đề là vòng tay. Các bạn hôm nay vòng của mình sẽ có tiêu đề là chiếc nhẫn. Bây giờ mình bắt đầu làm nha. Đây là màu vàng. Màu vàng là màu đỏ nhá. Màu đỏ đây, đỏ nha. Lấy màu tím nhé.
Tôi một xong là
Xin chào tất cả các bạn đã đến với kênh YouTube của mình. Video ngày hôm nay mình sẽ lại đi tô màu những bức tranh con vật, động vật và những bức tranh phong cảnh gì đấy cho các bạn xem nha. Đây là những bức tranh mà mình đã tô màu xong rồi này các bạn ạ. Ở đây là trên bàn của mình còn rất nhiều những sản phẩm của mình đã chuẩn bị tô màu này các bạn đây. Mà tô màu thì không thể thiếu được những hộp sắt màu này, đây những chiếc màu đầy màu sắc này các bạn ơi. Và bây giờ các bạn hãy cùng theo dõi mình tô màu cho sản phẩm nha. Xin chào tất cả các bạn.
trực tiếp của tôi một nhé các bạn.
Kết vòng nha.
Rồi một số bạn